Hello friends, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile guide. Today I'm going to be going over a character that I've liked a lot. People have asked me about it from my previous video. It is a cast on crit assassin called 1B Covered Boy because I intended to make him a poison character. However, I decided to try something a little bit different. So I'm doing Cyclone, Cast on Crit, Purifying Flame, and Wave of Conviction, and then I have increased critical strikes and added fire damage. So I wanted to go over this build because I actually intend on taking this to level 100. I'm probably going to be doing some more generalized videos in the future rather than focusing on specific builds, as I've done in the past. I normally don't do the webcam videos like this in OBS while the game is running because, as you may hear in the background, my computer fan gets quite loud, so I apologize for that. But I do want to go over this build, and I decided to do it like this rather than kind of a longer guide just because it's Halloween and I want to do Halloween stuff. So I'll talk about the key parts of the build. So I showed you the links already. Another key part of the build is scaling physical damage as extra fire damage mostly, but also of other elements as well. So we get extra cold damage from this as well, along with the extra fire damage from the sword. This sword was 5 chaos plus 4 chaos to craft the crit multi on it. So I bought it looking for crit chance 7 or higher, and then I looked for physical as extra fire, and then I also opened up a separate search and put count 1 out of either physical damage as extra cold and physical damage as extra lightning. This one came up 5C, pretty good, pretty solid. You can do a lot better if you want to spend a lot more. 6th link I have at Ziri's Splendor, only because I happened to have that. However, there are tons of great things you can use for this build as well. Let's see, I actually have it. I was writing a script for this, but I decided to do it a little less formal, I guess. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is Carcass Jack. Kintsugi is really good. Queen of the Forest, if you want to stack a lot more evasion than I'm doing, is really nice. The benefits of this build: uses evasion, uses dodge. So currently we have 40% dodge chance, 46% spell dodge. We have 43% evasion. However, we get some evasion from our Quicksilver Flask, and we get some elusive here, and 50% chance to gain elusive on crit strike. When all of our frenzy charges and buffs are up, we're 0.15 attack time, so we can get that going. And the elusive is going to give us reduced damage taken while elusive, and it also gives us 20% spell dodge and 20% regular dodge, plus it's 25% increased effect, so it actually gives 24%, which is pretty nice. So 24% of each, so that'll knock us right up to, when it's at full effect, 64% dodge and 70% spell dodge. Pretty nice. Also gives us 40% movement speed, 20% higher, so 48% movement speed. And then we get 20% movement speed if we've killed recently. So that's really nice. If you're going to do Queen of the Forest, you're going to want this Revenge of the Hunted build. As far as the skill tree goes, oh yeah, I want to talk about some other chests that you can do with this. So Eternity Shroud would be insane with this. If you can get all of the Shaper items except for the ones that you need to be, I suppose, Elder, which is the amulet. It's really nice. It's not necessary, but it is very nice for the 15% physical extra fire. You can get a shaped one though with physical as extra cold or physical as extra lightning. It's not so bad as long as you make sure that you have the added fire damage so that you can have higher fire damage than lightning damage, so Wave of Conviction will lower fire resist, because the most damage we do is fire damage. We have a lot of fire conversion. And then the Poacher's Mark on hit, which gives us life gain on hit. It gives us, it reduces the it reduced the evasion of the enemies. So they, even evasive monsters, even though we have less than 100% chance to hit, as soon as we land that first hit and get the poacher's mark rather, we're going to be hitting every single time after that. And then those are pretty much the only ones that need to be Elder, and then everything else can be Shaper. So that's pretty nice. I'll go over the skill tree. As far as the rest of the gear, just have some decent resist and life gear. And then it's Series Step. You don't need this. You can just get good boots with the resists and whatnot. But the 16% spell dodge is really nice, and it's pretty easy. Series Step is cheap. These aren't even well-rolled ones. Mid-tier life at best, so not even quite mid-tier. Max spell dodge though, so not too bad there. I'm using a Star Conjas because I need it to use my sword. If you can get your stats elsewhere, see I need 212 dex. This gives 68 dex. Also very nice for the global crit chance. 100 life is pretty nice, and the attack speed actually is what helps us, or one of the things that helps us get to the max. As far as the auras I run Hatred, which is fizzes extra cold and more cold damage. Precision, you can get as high level 1. I'm almost level 20 on that. That'll bump it up just a little bit more, make things a little more consistent. I'm running War Banner, gives more accuracy and increased physical damage to nearby enemies. Now granted, most of our damage is converted from physical, but we still do like 30% physical damage, so it's not bad in regards for that. And I didn't really think of anything else I can put in this slot. And I have a Herald of Ash too, which I currently have supported with an Empower. This is absolutely unnecessary, it just gives it a little bit more of a boost. I don't even have my Herald to level 20 yet either, so working on that. Then other than that, other important thing is cast when damage taken setup with increased duration and Immortal Call, of course. And yeah, I guess I have a Hypnotic Eye Jewel with double fire damage and life in my Stygian Vice. That's kind of a nice to have thing as well. Going over the skill tree finally. Oh, one more thing before that. Ziri's Promise is insane in this. I would prefer a perfectly rolled one, but I didn't bother to buy a perfectly rolled one. I also had this one qualityed already. So yeah, you want a 20%, 15% since you actually benefit from both types of damage, physical and elemental in this particular build. And then a Cinder Swallow Urn, which enemies ignited by you during your flask effect take 10% increased damage. We have 100% crit chance and high fire damage, so we are going to be igniting constantly, so we're constantly going to make everything have take 10% increased damage. Also, you get a bit of sustain with this, and you get some onslaught, and I also have movement speed during flask effect and avoid stun, but that doesn't matter because we're Cyclone. Priorities on the skill tree, we're going to head through the fizz damage, grab the life, of course. You can go up and grab Trickery. I kind of save that for later. I just go for Blood Siphon. Head on through here. Fangs of the Viper, Resourcefulness, Lethal Assault. I probably need to get Cold-Hearted Calculations early on just to make sure we have high enough intelligence. But then I head down here through the life, go down, grab the Phase Acrobatics. You don't have to grab that right away. You could probably just grab Blood Drinker for now and start heading over this way through the AoE and grab this. Then you probably by your second ascendancy want to start grabbing power charges. I like to get opportunistic first because the movement speed helps a lot, and the 20% more damage while there's at most one rare or unique enemy nearby helps you kill the act bosses a lot quicker. So I'd grab opportunistic first, then grab Unstable Infusion, and for your third ascendancy towards the end of the story, if you need more defense, you go for Mistwalker for the elusive, and if you need more offense, you go for Deadly Infusion for the crit multi and the crit strike and a bit more movement speed. So kind of depends where you're sitting. Usually you're probably just going to take Mistwalker because you'll have plenty of damage. You'll be able to destroy Kitava no problem. But then, yeah, you're going to swing over here, grab Quick Recovery, grab this stuff, head on through here. Actually, grabbing Divine Fury and even Divine Wrath, even though it does have Fizz and Ellie damage, so it's basically 4% damage. You don't get the lightning spells have 15% physical converted to lightning. Well, you do on Wave of Conviction, which is nice, but then both of your spells actually benefit from the 5% of physical damage as extra lightning. So this is very, very nice. Then you grab the other power charge, of course, and then you can start grabbing, AoE, crit multi, crit, grab some more life up here, grab phase acrobatics, more generic crit, finish out your life. Survivalist is really good on pretty much everything, gives evasion, evade, plus 3% chance to evade attacks, which is pretty nice, just flat. All resist and max cold resist, of course. Make sure you get that last power charge and you're pretty much set to go. This is a level 90 build. In terms of the bandits, I help Alira because crit multi and you get some help with gearing. As you can see, I'm Ellie weakness capped. This is great defensively. Another thing I want to note, I am currently using allocates dazzling strikes for my anoint. And that's because with evasion and dodge, blind is really good synergistic with that. We get some block chance too, but it's halved, so it's only like 13%. But all of those things kind of stack and make it much harder for you to be hit. This gives some accuracy, 10% chance to blind enemies on hit with attacks, which is fantastic because we're attacking 6.5 times per second. So it's very likely within the first second and a half, whatever we're attacking is blind. Then we get 40% increased crit strikes against blinded enemies as well. So yeah, blind is really nice. We're gonna get that going for us too. As far as the this, I don't have them upgraded at all, but I'm using the Soul of Ralikesh to stop me from just dying on accident to bleeding. And then I like to use Soul of Arakali for the reduced damage from damage over time, and just more chance to avoid lightning damage from hits. That's just more avoidance. We have all the avoidance. So this is a very, very high DPS setup with all the charges up, all of our power charges and frenzy charges, which we generate through Poacher's Mark, or on curse immune maps we generate them with Blood Rage. And with all of those up, each hit of Wave of Conviction does like 134,000 damage per hit, 6.5 times per second, and Purifying Flame does like 111,000 that same time. All in all, our DPS without shocks is about 2.2 million, except if there's only one unique or rare, then it's more like 2.44 million or something like that. And if we land a shock, we're a bit over 3 million on bosses. That's pretty nice, pretty solid. Overall, it's a very strong offensive and defense setup. I'm going to go ahead and pop in a map, Pit of the Chimera. I'm going to show you this. This map had a bunch of damage mitigating effects. We were enfeebled. The monsters had 40% increased elemental resistance, reduced curse effect as well, and then there was increased monster damage. So you get to see the defensive power and even the offensive power. Even with all those offensive debuffs to us, we're still doing a pretty crazy amount of damage. So I hope you enjoy the footage. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming. Bye.